boo. You like seeing yourself on the camera, don't you? Look at his smiley face. But to be honest, we've both been quite unwell for the last few weeks. I can't get over his face. So I thought I would use this opportunity, a day of rest and relaxation, to give you a 6-month update. Yes, Jakey Boo is 6 months old. Anya Baba. And as soon as we hit that 6-month mark, we were very keen to get him out of his 3 to 6 month clothes and into his 6 to 9 month clothes, because he's a very long baby. He seems to always be still have room in the width of his clothes, but in terms of the length, he's always struggling to get his legs straight in his onesies and things. So we were very happy to go shopping and buy lots of nice new clothes. You're a very lucky boy, aren't you? Lots of cute stuff. In terms of his skin, so his skin health is much improved. He has had this eczema on his face. It's looking good this morning, but every day it's a different story. And he still suffers with lots of very dry skin. Luckily, he has hair, thank goodness. Now, it's not curly. When he was born, I was convinced he was going to have curly hair, but it seems like it's very straight, but it is blonde. Little blonde boy. And blue eyes, look at those. Apparently, once they hit 6 months, then that's the colour of their eyes. I'm hoping that his eyes stay that way, because they're so gorgeous, and everyone comments on how beautiful his eyes are. They are quite unique, with the white ring on the inside and the blue on the outside. Such a beautiful boy. But then, I am biased. So yes, he's got blue eyes and lots of blonde fluffy hair, which is very nice. His skin's all clearing up. He does still scratch himself. We did go through a phase not so long ago of stitching his hands into his onesies at night time. But when we moved up to the bigger clothes, we weren't able to do that, because the onesies for 6 to 9 months don't seem to come with hands, scratch mitt folds. Oh dear. Oh dear. So we've been keeping on top of cutting his nails and filing his nails, and I just try and catch him when he is scratching and make him stop. And sometimes I put extra moisturiser on him in the middle of the night if I can see that he's quite dry. In terms of sleeping, we have moved him into his big boy cot. Oh, Jakey, you fell down. Are you okay? Oh. Yes, his sitting is still a little unsteady. Depends what he's looking at. But yes, we've moved him into his big boy cot, and I thought it would be a lot harder to switch him over than it actually was. Do you want to come and sit with Mummy? So yes, I thought switching him into his big boy cot would be difficult, but it wasn't. We put him in his next to me for a few nights, got him completely used to being in there, and refused to bring him into the bed with us. And then we put his next to me into his nursery, so we were still putting him down in that. And then after a few nights of being in his nursery, we moved him from the next to me into the big cot. And it was quite simple, really. We just made sure we had the same sleeping bag, the same sheets, the same white noise, the same routine, and I don't think he really noticed. He does now roll over in his big cot because he's got so much space. In the middle of the night, I'll hear him crying out, and I'll go in and he's rolled onto his tummy. Now, the first time I noticed him do this, it really freaked me out. I was very nervous about him potentially sleeping on his tummy. But it doesn't matter how many times I roll him back, he still rolls over. So I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that it's going to happen and not to stress too much about it. He generally is a side sleeper anyway. He's not one for sleeping on his back. He won't stay on his back for very long. He has to be very tired and very full to stay on his back, but I do try not to worry about it. When we sleep in the same bed, he generally sleeps on his side because we'll breastfeed, lay down next to one another. And I must admit, I do still bring him into our bed, so we are still kind of partially co-sleeping, so usually around 3 a.m. because he's not sleeping through the night. So usually around 3 a.m. I'm kind of fed up of getting up and going into the other room, cold and tired, and I'd rather just have him in our bed so I can keep an eye on him, know he's there, know he's safe, and have a cuddle. Yeah, because there's nothing nicer than waking up in the morning and he's there and he just looks over and you say, "Good morning," and you just get a big beaming smile. Are you gonna give us a smile? Now he's being very serious right now, but generally he's a very happy boy. We are very blessed to have such a smiley, happy chappy. Aren't you? You're a smiley, happy chappy. He started laughing loads. I think being 6 months old, we're getting so much interaction with him, so much in terms of reactions. He's anticipating, so we play like peekaboo and these kinds of games of anticipation. He really gets it, he gets very excited. In terms of his motor skills, he's sitting up, he's still a little bit unsteady, so I do have to kind of keep an eye on him, as you just saw, and make sure he's got lots of soft stuff around him, because sometimes he'll see something ahead of him and he'll reach out for it and then just face plant. And so I try to make sure he's got no hard toys or any hard edges or hard floor around him, and just let him kind of go for it really. Let him learn what his limits are. He's not attempting to crawl at all. I keep trying to help him to lift his bum up, and there was one day where he was lifting his bum up, but ever since then he hasn't made any attempt to try to crawl, to think about crawling. And I think he may even skip crawling altogether. He does a lot of pulling up. So he likes to hold on to our hands, and when we say stand up, he'll stand right up, and he likes being stood. If I'm holding him, he likes to be up on his feet. And so I have a feeling he might skip crawling altogether, but I don't know. It's my first, I've got no idea what's around the corner, to be honest. The other exciting thing that started with being 6 months old, of course, is weaning. Now, I was both nervous and excited about weaning. We did it on his 6-month birthday. We started with some really healthy foods like broccoli, cabbage, yawny face, and just loads of vegetables really. We started introducing things like toast and porridge because his stomach didn't react so great to the introduction of solids. He had very loose stools, basically had diarrhea for a good couple of weeks. And so I tried everything then to try and firm up his poos while not losing the opportunity to introduce new foods every day and to keep him going on solids. And now I'm glad to say, a good few weeks into it and a varied diet, he has very healthy motions. Yes, you do. And he really does love his food. We decided to go for, I wanted to do baby-led weaning, and he took to that really quickly. We haven't had any scary moments, just a couple of like gagging moments, but nothing too long. He always seems to clear it within a few seconds, which is good. But I find that it is easy sometimes just to give them a puree. And so I have been kind of combination feeding really. And the same goes for the milk side of things. I have been reducing the breastfeeds just to give myself a little bit of freedom really. So we tend to breastfeed through the night, if ever he needs it through the night. But during the day, I will rarely stick him on the breast unless he seems like he needs a top up or just wants a bit of comfort for whatever reason. Otherwise he's on formula, and he's on the Aptimal 2 formula. Aren't you, Baba? And you do like it. And in fact, I'm finding he's not rejecting the breast, but he's more fussy over the breast than he ever used to be. So it's like he's almost deciding that he's getting over it now as well. And certainly today he wouldn't take breast milk. He decided he wanted formula. So I had to give him formula. I'm not going to phase out breastfeeding altogether though, I'll just see when it naturally seems to happen. Yeah, so there we go. In terms of play, he absolutely loves bath time. He really loves water and obviously swimming, and every night we do a bath, and as soon as we get him in there he's splashing around, absolutely soaking Daddy and I. And he tends to enjoy being on the floor a bit more now. I don't put him in the jumperoo so often, he seems to get a little bit bored. He does like being in his lobster, which is our Phil and Ted's high chair option. It's a portable high chair that just clips onto the kitchen side or any tabletop. It's really handy actually. We've used it to go out with a couple of times as well. But it means that he can be up and seeing things. So when I'm in the kitchen, rather than putting him down on the rug in the other room, which he doesn't like, I just pop him in his lobster, and he's in the kitchen with me. So he can see what's going on, he can play with his toys, and he absolutely loves that. So that was definitely the right decision for us. We decided not to go for a freestanding high chair because I just didn't want any additional furniture in the house to have to move around and pack away all the time. So that's going well. And in terms of his toys, obviously we've been introducing some more teether toys now because of teething. Oh yes, I didn't tell you, he's got a tooth. He cut his first tooth just a few days ago, which was like 6.5 months. And yeah, really exciting. It's one of his bottom teeth. He was quite unsettled the day before. We thought he was unwell. Whether it's linked, I don't know. But I would say it's come through with relatively little trouble. It's a little bit spiky, and he has bitten my finger. But not so far, he hasn't bitten my breast. I'm a bit nervous about breastfeeding when he's got little teeth in there. But yeah, it's all very exciting. He's all growing up. All growing up, aren't you, baby boy? Mwah. Okay, so if you have any questions or you want to share any of the exciting things that your little one's been achieving at 6 months, is your little one crawling? Are they standing up and holding their own weight yet? Are they talking? Jacob is babbling a lot. Oh yeah? Oh, that's interesting. That's lovely. Are you singing? What do you want? Ajabu? Is that so? Yeah. We haven't had any specific words, although I'm certain Dada is going to be the first proper word. But do let me know how your little ones are getting on, or where they were at the 6 month mark. And until next time, guys, take care. Say goodbye from us. Bye bye, Jakey. Say bye bye. Bye bye. Get off Mummy's hair. Alright guys, thank you for joining. I hope you found this interesting. Until next time, bye.